Charleston and Huntington. This is WOWK-TV. 13 News at 11 begins now.
In the wake of the deadly Bayer explosion, many concerned about the safety of their hometowns. Good evening, I'm Rick Dayton.
And I'm Gina Long. Thanks for joining us. It was 1 week ago tonight that an explosion rocked the Kanawha Valley. Tonight, many who lived through that night say their fears are still very strong. We continue to cover this issue tonight with live team coverage. Shane Irwin will have more on the 911 tapes about that night in just a moment. But first, Kristen Sell is live in our Charleston studios with more on the concerns from neighbors. Kristen?
Gina, a week is enough time to do a lot of things, but for residents living in the Kanawha Valley, it's not enough time to forget the fatal explosion at Bayer, and they say it's apparently not enough time for anyone to come up with an explanation as to what happened and why. This vision is embedded into the minds of many. Some witnessed it from right across the street.
All of a sudden, the whole yard lit up, and there was a big boom. The entire house shook. Picture fell off the wall.
It was scary because I have 4 kids in the house and they were sleeping. I didn't know whether to wake them up and take them somewhere or just to wait it out.
Her son Ethan may have slept through the night's ordeal, but fear followed him all the way to school the next day.
Well, I was afraid that hazardous gases were up in the air, so I was just trying to keep my shirt over my mouth and everything to try to not breathe anything in as much as possible.
While the community's initial fear has died down a bit 1 week later, their questions are growing more intense.
Why did it take over an hour for the shelter-in-place alarm to be set off?
Thursday, a forum allowed the questions to be asked again.
You have people surrounding this plant that don't feel comfortable. At that point, you should have notified Metro to let them know.
While no Bayer representatives were present, many questioned Institute Fire Chief and Incident Commander Andre Higginbotham.
You felt comfortable in not sheltering or not evacuating based on the smell.
The answers may take more time yet. These folks just hope they get them before it's too late.
I just wanted to be better aware of what happened so I can be better prepared for next time.
We shouldn't have to pay the price.
Spoke with Nick Crosby with the Bayer plant on the phone this evening. He tells me while the Chemical Safety Board will have their incident report complete in 12 to 18 months, the plant is also doing an internal investigation. He tells me their report should be finished in the next few weeks. When it is, they'll share their findings with the community. Now, our coverage of that explosion continues after 911 releases emergency calls from that night. Shane Irwin is live in Huntington with the details there. Shane?
13 News obtained a copy of what Metro 911 says are the calls placed to and from Bayer Crop Science that night. The call you're about to hear is what 911 says was the first call of several.
Engage Steve. Hey, this is Metro 911. What do we have? Do you know? Well, I haven't got instructions as to what to tell everybody yet.
The following conversations between plant staff and Metro 911 were equally as vague, and it wasn't until 35 minutes later Bayer staff recommended notifying the public.
What it is, we have an emergency at the Bayer Crop Science plant, right. And the only information I can give you is that you might want to alert the community. My supervisor informed me to tell you to alert the community that there's an emergency in the plant right now.
911 staff tell us similar conversations took place back in December of last year after a chemical leak. Nick Crosby with the plant tells us the calls from Thursday were only a portion of the entire conversation between the plant and officials. There were several lines of communication ongoing. Many were done via cell phones. Crosby says as soon as they found out the facts, they shared those with the public. He also tells us a meeting is scheduled with Metro 911 to critique the process next week. Live and local in the Huntington newsroom, Shane Irwin, 13 News.
Thank you, Shane and Kristen, for those live updates.